Hey there, everyone. Welcome to CAD 154. My name is Wyatt McMartin. I'll be your professor this semester. Feel free to call me just Wyatt. I'm fine with that. If you feel more comfortable calling me Mr. McMartin or Professor McMartin, that's fine too. But really, whatever you feel comfortable with, I'm fine with Wyatt if that makes you happy. A little bit about me. I'm a HACC graduate from the EET program. Upon graduating from HACC, I worked for PPL, the utility company, for about 3.5 years as an electrical design engineer. Actually, I had originally gone over to Penn State to finish my 4-year degree in electrical engineering, but was able to get a job doing. The reason I was going to school for electrical engineering because I wanted to work on the power grid, and I got a design engineering job before I finished. So at that point, I only had my associates. When I left PPL, I decided I wanted to go back into the furniture side of the furniture industry, hospitality industry, high volume production, hospitality case goods, architectural lighting, and banquet furniture. I had some experience. Actually, after I took this class, CAD 154 class, as a student at HACC, I was able to get a job working remotely. My first professional job as a contractor. Basically as a contractor. They paid for my SolidWorks software. For a company called Lionswood Banquet Furniture. And that's how I put myself through school. So I left PPL. I decided that my passion was more for the hospitality industry and doing design engineering for furniture and lighting products. So that's what I do now. So I left PPL. I finished up a bachelor's degree in applied management from Ohio University. And now I run my own business called Reynolds Design. And we do engineering consulting for the architectural lighting, which is like basically just lights for hotels and schools and stuff like that, custom lighting, custom architectural lighting, hospitality case goods. So that's the case good is just is an industry term for furniture. Anything that's not upholstered, even though kind of just some crossover there, and linenless banquet furniture. So I kind of hit the market on all three sides with banquet event type stuff, hospitality case goods, furniture for hotels, and the lighting side of things. And I've been doing really well doing that. I do CAD all the time. SolidWorks and AutoCAD is what I specialize in, and doing design engineering for the hospitality industry. I hired one of my previous students from a couple years ago, a kid named Zach, and he and I are actually, he does some client work for me too now. He took over my architectural lighting client actually, and I'm pretty much focusing specifically on the case goods at this point. But Zach and I are working on some internal projects, and we're planning on coming out with a line of furniture at the end of this year. I don't know when you're watching the video, it might already be out by now. Anyway, so that's a little bit about me. As far as for the class, the best way to contact me is by email. And let me actually just share my screen here. Let me do this. All right. There we go. Okay, so I have a number of email. I have emails for certain clients. I have my own business email. I have my HACC email, and I actually take some classes at Ohio University still here and there. So I have a student email as well. But needless to say, I get a lot of emails. So what I have, and I don't have one set up for summer semester, but what I do is I set up folders and I use email filters to organize my email for class. So for example, 2 of your classmates have already emailed me this semester, and they used the proper format, which are, I guess, maybe some of the format essentially is ensuring that when you create a new email to me, send it with your last name, and then you can type CRN, you don't have to, but 35439 is our class CRN. If you send me an email with this number in the subject line, it will automatically go into this folder right here. And that'll just make sure I check that folder all the time. I get a lot of emails from HACC. I try to keep up with them by just kind of saying mark all of them as read, because I don't read most of them that come through. The fact that he gets a lot of emails. You can this is just to make sure to cut down on response time. I check this like 3 times a day, and I try to be super responsive for emails. So please include 35439 in any emails to me. And here, where's my meeting controls here? I'll stop my share. You can text me as well. My phone number, my personal cell phone number is in the syllabus. You can text me if you're like in the middle of something and you like, your crunch time on a due date or something, and you feel like texting. You can text me. That's okay. But generally speaking, try to keep it to email. My phone's on me all the time, and I don't like saving all my students in my personal cell phone. I have all of you saved in my hack email address and saved under the class number. So. That's the best and most efficient way to get in contact with me. So on that note, I will email everybody. I will email the whole class. I've got an email list set up, and I just blast the whole class every week. It'll usually be on a Friday, just explaining the week's material. I'm just going to basically take some screenshots from the content section, throw them in there, give a little bit extra context of what's due, what's coming up, that kind of thing. And then you will go to, let me share my screen again. You will then go to our portal. And if this is your first semester, you may not be familiar with how all this works yet, but you log into your MyHack, which is just my.hack.edu, and come over here to Brightspace D2L. It's highlighted in orange. And that will open up your class catalog. All the classes that you're registered for are going to show up. For me, it's just I teach the one class every semester as an adjunct. So you just go ahead and click on our class, CAD 154, and yours will probably be white. I have a dark mode on, so everything is kind of like reverse colored. That's why all these colors look kind of funky. But this is how you get to our class portal here. So I used to do more with this front page. I keep it like this because it kind of divides it up into weeks. Like lab 1 is week 1, lab 2 is week 2, throughout the class. So you can see there's 14 labs, so that's 14 weeks worth of content. And we also have a project, and then we have a final exam. I'm sorry, we have 3 exams. We have one after AutoCAD. So after week 5, we have an AutoCAD exam. The rest of the class starting in week 6 is all SolidWorks, and we have 2 SolidWorks exams. There's one after lab 9, and there's one the same day that lab 14 is due. So that's in a nutshell how the class is all set up, and the project then is also due the last day of class. So and the project, I'll go over this in the syllabus, but the project is worth a very large part of the grade for the class. But that's what it is. So it's 14 lab assignments, 3 tests, and a project. That's what we're working with this semester. So where I'm going to want you to get your content, the class content, actually your actual assignments, is in the content section. So when you come in here, there is a. Oops, I'm not going to do the table of contents. So the first little box up here that's important is syllabus and course calendar. So I have sent you in my intro email, I sent you a folder that had this information in it, but you can also download your syllabus here. If you just click on it, you don't click the arrow and click download, it'll give you a preview and you can scroll through. I highly recommend going through and reading some of this stuff. I'm not going to go through it in this video, but it gives more information about what we're doing every single week. It also, at the bottom of this is, and the other file is also just this, but this is important dates. I sent you this as well. It's in the folder, the zip folder that I sent you with my initial email. But this is a calendar of all the dates, all the important dates for the semester, including last day to drop with a refund or full refund, half refund, exam dates, spring break, that kind of stuff. And also when grades are due and when they're posted. When the due date here is referring to the date that I have to put it in the computer. So realistically, I'm asking, for example, the last day to submit late work is May 12th. I have until the 15th to put grades in, but if you have stuff in by May 12th, I guarantee that I'll get it in. If you get it to me, the morning of the 15th, I may or may not see it, so I may not be able to get it in there for you. Um, yeah, and like I said, I'm not going to go through the syllabus right now. The only thing I will say specifically is this link right here, and I post it in my weekly emails as well. This link is good for the entire semester. So Saturdays, if we're going to do a one-on-one Zoom meeting, if you reach out to me during the week and you need some extra help, this will be the meeting link. Also for office hours, if you ask me to be there for office hours, they're prearranged, so you just let me know, and I'm happy to jump on Saturday at noon for office hours. And technically, our class is scheduled from 8 a.m. to 12:15. But I'll explain this in a minute, and I think I explained it in my email as well. The way I have it set up, you can basically work at your own pace, as quickly as you want. I wouldn't recommend going slower than what our pace is week to week, because it's one lab a week, and it's not a horrible amount of work, but it can pile up, especially with your other course load. So I would recommend making sure that you're getting stuff turned in week to week. You also, late work is a 20% deduction, and I talk about that in the syllabus. So make sure everything is submitted on time, which is Saturday at 11:59, and I do talk about that in here, so you'll see that in the syllabus. Late assignment policy, must have it in the Dropbox by 11:59. This is just talking about the first assignment is due next Saturday, but this is for my spring semester. So whenever you're watching this video, it'll be due at 11:59 on whatever the date in the course calendar is for each assignment. So the only other thing I want to go over in this intro video is the folder that I sent you. So let me bring that in here. So this folder is actually pretty cool. I have it set up because no matter what I would do, so I guess I can't zoom in here. No matter what I would do to try to get students to be organized on their computer, it seemed like every time I would either see, it was like when I was teaching in person, they had thumb drives that just like their folders or files were scattered all over their thumb drive. Now when I see students' computers, they just have files all over the place, and they're not saving them anywhere where it's easy to access them. And say they thought they submitted something, but it didn't end up getting in the class Dropbox. Then it's like, oh well, I don't know where I saved the file. So I sent you this. This has, while you can get all of your assignments in the content section, which I'll bring up here in just a sec, you can also come in and see. So lab 1 assignment. So for example, your first assignment here is turning in this lab. So you're going to be drawing this. You're going to be creating this title block, when I'm going to walk you through that in another video. And then you submit this in PDF format to the Dropbox on the portal. So I've provided this template, this folder template for you to keep organized. So what you could do is just save this CAD 154 course file on your desktop or wherever, in your documents folder or something like that, or your hack folder on your computer. And this is just a way to stay, really well organized during class. I would also say, don't CAD 154 title block. This is for SolidWorks. Don't worry about this title block here. We're not going to use that this semester. I forgot to delete that. We're going to use a title block, a different template that I've created, and I'm going to walk you through in another video. You can also save your work wherever you want, but I would, I just created this submissions folder. So when you are saving something, for example, like your title block, so you would have a title block in here. I'm going to explain this in the title block video, but so you'll have your title block template. You can take that template, put it into your submissions folder, rename it lab 1, sheet 1, and then your initials. So my initials are WRM. So boom. So now we can just open this up. And well, it's going to take a minute to open, but yeah, basically you open it up and you already have it saved exactly where you need it. So that is the intention behind this folder on how to use it. So feel free to use it or not, whatever. But it should help you stay organized. Okay, so back in the content section here. You have the downloadable course folder, and actually now, I already sent it to you, but you can also download it here. So I will be updating this shortly here. I will be updating this to remove that old title block off of there. Now, you don't have access to this stuff, like depending on when you're watching these videos, you may or may not have access to these yet. This semester, everything begins January 21st, or that's our first actual class date. So the entire class then opens on the first day of class. So you can work ahead if you want to, or not. You're not going to be able to see the test stuff. Like, you'll be able to click on the folder, but nothing's clickable yet until the actual test date. For example, this semester that I'm recording this, they have, the exam 1 is February 25th. So it'll open, when it says open at 9 a.m. and it closes at 4 p.m. And that's when it's due. And then the Dropbox turns off. So keep that in mind. Also, I'm trying something this semester, so this may be different in future semesters, but at least for this semester, and I think I'm going to do this going forward, you're going to have to submit Lab 5 before you do the first exam, because Lab 5 is the same format as the first exam. So it's kind of like a forced study guide. You have to submit Lab 5 before you take the first exam. And the first exam is on the day that Lab 5 is due, so it should be done already. Feel free to ask for clarification on that. Anyways, so the last thing on this is when you come in, for example, for Lab 1, there are a couple different links. So I'm not doing this every week, but Lab 1, I provided the lesson plan that I actually teach from. So this is, I think, really helpful, and it just goes through some very specific steps and stuff like that on how to create everything. I'm going to go through the title block is a little bit different, how we're creating this now, but this gives you, this will show you how to draw it as well. So this will kind of go through, and then you can also use this looking back if you need a refresher or something like that on how to draw, different types of tools and stuff like that. Last thing here on this. So these instructions 1 through 14 here are actually how to create how to do the first lab. So I have a lecture video that you're going to be able to follow as well. But these are the actual commands that you would enter into your keyboard and into your computer, into the software to actually create the first drawing. So that is that. Like I said, this is the only one of these that I've created for this course. But I felt like it was kind of nice the first week to have something like that. Here is the lecture video. And so you just click on that, watch the video, and then here is your assignment. So again, this is in the folder as well, but it's also here in the content section. So you can get it from your folder, you get it from the content section, whatever is better for you, whatever feels best for you. So this is it. So this is what you end up submitting. With that, I think that is everything that I want to talk about in the intro video. Good luck this semester. I'm excited to have everybody in class. I try to be super responsive with emails, and I try to make myself as available as possible. As a small business owner, I work from home. So generally speaking, I am pretty busy, but over lunch breaks or after work or something like that, if somebody has a question, they want to jump on Zoom, I'm happy to generally jump on Zoom. I usually could do that, a quick 20-minute session or something like that, just to look at an issue. So sorry about that. Sorry about that. Or if you just send me an email with a screenshot, I can usually, even during the day, just send you a quick email response. And most issues most questions I get are easily answered that way. Oh, there also is this forums.autodesk.com. When you install AutoCAD, you're going to have to create an Autodesk account. So when you create one of these accounts, you can't even see my screen. Let's see here. There we go. Yeah, so there's if you need to ask a question, and for some reason, if I don't get right back to you or something like that, or if you just don't feel like emailing me, you could say like how to draw a rectangle. And there's a bunch of there's just so much content. There's so much content for AutoCAD and for SolidWorks as well. So I highly recommend the AutoCAD forums. If you could just type it right into Google, like how to do something ACAD, and it'll bring you right to these forums. So feel free to use these and explore them, as you feel that you want to. All right. Anyways, thanks for listening to this lecture. Go ahead and watch the AutoCAD installation lecture, and then you'll do the title block and lab 1. And I'll see you in class.